Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next lesson where we encounter third conditional. This is this unreal situation in the past. And for many students, this is difficult, but I think for us, it won't be because we have practiced a lot second conditional and first conditional, and especially second conditional. It's related to third conditional in that both second and third are unreal situations. Second conditional deals with the present. Though you articulate it, you talk about, you use the verbs in the past. Third conditional talks about the past and you use verbs in the past perfect. So we're just moving back a verb to discuss an unreal situation in a given time. So I think, honestly, I'm very optimistic that we will handle third conditional very well. Let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to begin. There's a listening exercise. And I think this is great for second conditionals. This sort of gets us started. What would you do if? So if you have a speaking partner, and if you don't, find one this week where you can ask this question and you just go through it. It will become so natural, second conditional, that you will feel like you're living in an unreal world, because that's what second conditional is. What would you do if somebody asked in the street, asked you for money on your way home tonight? If somebody asked me for money on the way home, I wouldn't be able to give it to them because I don't carry cash. I'm living in a cashless society now. My phone is my card. I don't carry cash. Do you carry cash? Do you all carry cash? I don't. You don't need it here. In fact, you can send money from bank to bank with a phone number. It's just very easy now to send money in Europe. I wonder about you all. How do you send money? Now, if you live, now that's an unreal situation, but what if you live in an area where there are lots of homeless or lots of beggars? Beggars is someone who asks for money or food or something. If you live somewhere where there are lots of beggars, you might encounter someone. So then we move to first conditional. If someone asks, not asked, now it's real. It's a real possibility. If someone asks me for money today on the street, I won't be able to give it to them because I don't carry any cash. That's a pity. All right. Do you see the difference? Because now we're going to move to the third conditional, but this is great for first and second, especially second, because it's what would you do if, and chances are we wouldn't, we're talking hypothetically, so we can naturally use the second conditional. Practice that with your speaking partner. Now, we've got a little bit of listening that I'm going to expose you to. Here is the text that accompanies the listening and some of the other exercises, and I want to talk about it now, actually. And what I've done is I've highlighted words that I feel you might struggle with, or words that I can comment on. So here we have the word flat. Flat, of course, refers to a surface. The surface is flat. The land is flat. We call this the flatlands. This is where there are no mountains, no hills. It's just all flat. Smooth terrain is what we say. But, of course, this flat is different. This is an apartment. So the Brits, in British English, you say flat, and in the US or American English, you say apartment. A phone box, the nearest phone box. Do you know what that is? It's not found in your house. It is a phone booth. Excuse me. A phone booth, B-O-O-T-H. This is the American version. The Americans say phone booth. The British say phone box. All right, so you go to a public telephone in the street. They're not very common today because of the mobile. Now, another difference, he told me that my mom, that's British English, In American, we say mom, and we've talked about some of these already, was very ill. Ill is used both in America and Britain, but more in Britain because the Americans also use the word sick. Sick. British English has a different meaning for sick. Sick means vomit or throw up. Not very pleasant. If you miss the connection, they're talking about a train connection or a bus connection, but normally a train connection or a plane. I missed my connection. I missed my connecting flight, or I missed my connecting train. Missed. So if you miss it, you don't get it. You also missed the class, but you can also miss someone. I really missed you. You can say that to someone you care for. Now, hitchhiking is something everyone knows when they see it, but they might not remember the word. And that is when you're asking on a street, you're asking for a ride from somebody. This is hitchhiking. In the US, they do this. And in Europe, we talked about this, I think they move their thumb a bit. So there are different ways to show hitchhiking, but that's what the word is, hitchhiking. You hitch. Yeah, you hitch a ride, actually. Hitch is to latch on a ride. All right. Now, I don't know why we have this other dot here. That might have been a mistake. Rudely is an adverb. I think we all know what rude is. Rude is being impolite, but rudely is the adverb, not as common as rude. And finally, we have ticket inspector. You can also say ticket checker. You can say fare checker, maybe. The fare is the cost of the train ride. Some people say conductor. There are a few words for this. So just understand it's flexible. So that's some preliminary vocabulary. All right, now we have grammar third conditional. I'm going to go through these with you before we get to the grammar, actual grammar discussion. So if the inspector hadn't stopped the train to Leeds, which one is it? A, B, C, or D? You can pause it if you want. I'm going to give you the answer now, so pause it. Bernard would have missed his connection. So connection, the clue here is connection and train. Train, connection. If the biker hadn't found the little girl's blanket, which one? She wouldn't have been able to sleep. Now notice, we're talking about something in the past. I went to Leeds last week. The biker incident means event, the biker incident happened last summer. If the biker hadn't found the little girl's blanket that night, that cold summer night, she wouldn't have been able to sleep. What about the third one? If the girl and her mother hadn't bought the groceries. A, that's right. The man and his wife wouldn't have had anything to eat, but the girl and the mother, they purchased some groceries the other day, 2 days ago, for the man and the wife. Finally, if the security man had thrown the woman's paint away, she wouldn't have got them back. He didn't throw it away, her paint, her cans of paint. So she got it back, and she was able to paint her house pink after the Barbie and the Barbie movie. All right, it's very popular now to dress in pink if you go to the movie. I've not seen the movie, and I doubt I'll dress in pink if I do, but I might go. All right. Has anyone seen it? How is it? Is it worth seeing? Can I get a few reviews when we talk next? Let's go to the grammar bank, 9A. Here we have third conditional. I'm going to play the role of the audio file. So I'm going to read them. And then over here, we're going to talk about the rule. Maybe we'll talk about the rule first. We normally use third conditional sentences to talk about hypothetical. Hypothetical means unreal. Imaginary, imagine in your mind, you create it. situations in the past, how things could have been different in the past. Compare these two sentences. I like this comparison. Yesterday, I got up and missed my train. That's a fact. Well, it's not a fact for me, but it's a fact in the sentence. Although recently, I did miss my train. If you can believe it, I went to the wrong train station. It was just unbelievable. I show up and there's no train. And there's no time to get a taxi to the other train station, so I missed it. Now, a hypothetical, if I hadn't got up late yesterday, I wouldn't have missed my train. If I hadn't got up late yesterday, I wouldn't have missed my train. This means if I got up earlier, I would have caught the train, but I didn't. I missed it. Now, for some of you, this is going to be a little bit difficult, so read it through a few times, but actually we're going to go through a lot of examples, so don't fret, F-R-E-T, don't worry, I'll help you. Let's go through some examples. Repetition is your friend. Don't be afraid to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until you get it. That is called dedication, determination. Some things in English will come easy. You hear it once and you say, I got that. Other things like this might be difficult. For most people, it's a bit difficult. So you have to review it a few times. Don't feel bad about that. If I had known you had a problem, I would have helped you. I didn't know you had a problem last week, or I would have helped. If Paul hadn't gone to Brazil, he wouldn't have met his wife, but he went and he met. Would you have gone to the party if you'd known Lisa was there? Probably. She's okay. We haven't seen each other for a while. We're not the closest friends, but I would have gone even if I had known Lisa was going to be there. Next, you wouldn't have lost your job if you hadn't been late every day. Don't be late. This is a bad habit. Unless you live in a culture, Latin America, where it's okay to be a little bit late. But in cultures where it's not okay, like the United States, you can lose your job. I can tell you. That is a fact. So you wouldn't have lost your job last summer if you hadn't been late so often, every day, too many times. Now, to make third conditional, we use if plus the past perfect and would have plus the past participle. So, and then finally, the contraction of both had and would is d. Now, this is where it's difficult. If I had known, I'd have helped. I could say I'd have helped. That means I would have. So you have to understand that apostrophe D can mean had or would, depending on this. So look at here. This is if I had known. This is if you had known Lisa. Let me see if we have it the other way. We don't have the other way yet. Here we go. If she had studied harder, she might have passed the exam. All right. Here, this is another point. Sorry. We use might or could instead of would if we're less certain. This is really important to know because we do use this. If she'd studied harder, she might have passed the exam. Maybe not, but she would have had a chance. If she'd studied harder, she might have passed. She could have passed. It doesn't mean 100% she would pass, but there was a good chance, or at least a chance. You've got some homework to do, so I'm going to leave you to that. We're going to move down to these. These are going to be with your speaking partners. And again, I think you have to have a speaking partner during this week's homework. It's a must. I'm going to put speaking homework as the #1 thing. I want you to practice. You don't learn third conditional in a book. You learn it speaking. There are some things you can learn on your own, but you have to practice these if you're going to learn it and become familiar. Now, if you don't want to have a speaking partner, You could just look in the mirror or look in your phone. Talk to yourself. This is fine. But you've got to talk to someone. All right, pronunciation. I'm going to help you a little bit here, even though you've got the audio files. This is what they're talking about, the would have here. So the weak pronunciation of have after would. The weak, not strong, pronunciation of have after would. Listen to this. I'm going to read this sentence right here. I would have come. I would have come. Would have come. It's almost like would have come. This is like, let me explain what it almost, this is what I'm saying actually. I would, like would, touch wood, I would have come. That's what we're saying. I would have come. I would have come of, so we say of here, of, maybe something like this. I would have come to see you. If I'd known you were ill, I would have come to see you. Now that's my sort of American international accent. Let's see what the British have to say. So you're going to listen to the British accent during these files, but just keep in mind, this is what they're listening for. It's this right here, this right here. So practice those. Take your time. Listen, this is a class that you should enjoy. I know we're very busy, but what I mean is once you sort of come across a problem that you're not very good at in English, block everything else out. Don't worry about finishing the lesson. Just enjoy this moment and say, all right, I have a lot to learn here. I don't care if I get anything else done. I want to do this well. I want to improve. If you can do that with one thing a lesson, you are going to skyrocket to advanced. So if this is your difficulty, just play it over and over and over. There is nothing. If you're determined to learn something, you're going to do it. So don't worry. There's no time limit. You're not racing. You're not in competition with anyone. You're in competition with yourself. So just enjoy it and say, all right, I want to master this. I kind of like it. So I just want to practice it more. That is when you have that attitude, that's when learning gets fun and you become a very good student. And even if you don't catch the other things in the lesson, you can feel proud that you learned so much in pronunciation or in third conditional, whatever it might be. This chapter is challenging. You can see that these later units are much more difficult than the earlier ones. And that's by design. That was planned ahead of time because, of course, these are just more difficult concepts. Now we have word building exercises, and I fear I might have actually deleted the word building. Actually, I know what happened. There's an article that honestly, I didn't want everyone to read because I was worried you wouldn't finish it. So let me just see. Yeah, okay, 86, 87. Yeah, I think I deleted that. So you're just going to work on the word building. Yeah, I deleted it on purpose because there's so much here. There's a lot of difficult concepts. I didn't want people to feel overwhelmed, so I took out the reading. I want you here. Word building is also not easy. We have 3 pretty difficult concepts in one lesson. That's enough in my view. So we have here word making nouns from verbs, and these right here signify a noun. These are the verbs. So achieve is the verb, achievement is the noun. Go through these on your own and see how many you know. Then the ones you don't know, just practice them. And I think that's the key. I think most of you do this, but practice and focus on the ones you don't know. Don't worry about the ones you know. That's great. Focus on the ones you don't know and just repeat them in sentences or with your speaking partner. Come to your speaking partner session, meeting with a list. Maybe there are 6 or 7 you didn't know. Have that 7 right there and try to say them during the meeting. If you plan well, you can make a lot of improvement. People who are organized and who are disciplined can make a lot more progress, even if you're not as talented as the next person, because you're organized and disciplined. All right, these are the things I need to review. I'm going to get a speaking partner. We're going to meet, and I'm going to speak. I'm going to say each of these at least once during our meeting. That's organized and disciplined. And even if you're not super talented, I'm not super talented in languages, but if you're disciplined and organized, you will move ahead of everyone in the room because these skills are overlooked. We just think, oh, they're naturally have a good accent. Well, that's great. Some people do have naturally a good accent, but that's not the end of the story. Here is where progress is really made. All right. Making adjectives from adverbs. Making adjectives and adverbs. And we obviously know we have the Y and LY, but sometimes it's a bit tricky. We have here adverbs ending in Y, adjectives ending in Y, and the adverbs ending in LY. Here we have adjectives with just this, and then we have the LY ending, unfortunately or fortunately. So go through those. You've got here the rules. I think they're fairly straightforward, so I don't need to read those. And then you've got the homework, and we've made it blue this time. We're actually going to try to make it white next time. This is trying to be aesthetically more pleasing. All right. Well, there you go. You've got a lot to do. Happy studying, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.